Ego was the queen of the largest market in Aba, Ariaria market. Her name echoed through the narrow, crowded pathways like the hum of a restless bee. She owned not one, not two, but 5 massive provision shops, each one teeming with bustling sales boys and girls who worked tirelessly under her watchful gaze. Her shops were bright, with shelves stacked high with everything one could need. Milk, sugar, rice, canned goods, biscuits, lined neatly like obedient soldiers ready for battle. Ego was not a kind woman. She didn't believe in soft words or warm smiles. Her voice, sharp and cold, cut through the air like a whip. Her sales boys and girls worked tirelessly, their eyes darting around like hawks, ensuring that every shelf was stocked, every price haggle was swift, and no time was wasted. Ego ruled them with the precision of an army general. Any mistake from her staff, a wrongly given change, a misplaced item, and a sharp public rebuke, a reduction in their salary, or worse, for the unlucky, outright dismissal. The sales boys and girls walked with nervous hands, their eyes darting to her, praying not to be the next victim of her stern discipline. Yet, despite her harshness, customers flocked to her shop like moths to a flame. They crowded around, jostling to be served, even when Ego barely spared them a smile. She could be outright rude, brushing off their greetings, snapping at their hesitations, and yet they returned again and again. Mothers, traders, students, all lined up, not just to buy what they needed, but even what they didn't. They would leave her shops with bags bulging, their pockets emptied, their purses lighter, as if drawn by some invisible force. "I don't know why I bought all these," a customer muttered once, clutching a bag of items, her eyes vacant. "I only came for sugar." It puzzled the other shop owners. They sat in their quiet, dusty shops, watching Ego's empire with growing despair. From morning till night, they sold nothing, not even a single sachet of salt. Slowly, the lively chatter in their stalls faded into silence, and one by one, they let go of their own sales boys and girls, unable to pay them any longer. "I don't understand," muttered Nkem, the owner of the neighboring shop, to her husband. "She treats them so harshly, yet they can't stay away." Her husband shook his head. "It's like they are under a spell." Whispers began to swell through the market. Was Ego using some kind of juju? How else could one explain the customers who swam to her like bees to honey, despite her cutting words? Every day, the other shop owners watched in helpless frustration as their livelihoods crumbled while Ego's business grew stronger. But beneath the surface, something darker lay hidden, a secret that none could see. The question haunted them all. What power did Ego truly possess? Ego's dominance over the market was complete, and her shadow loomed large over every shop and trader in Ariaria market. Many provision shop owners, once hopeful entrepreneurs with dreams of success, were driven out of business by the force of her overwhelming control. The sight of customers flooding Ego's shops while their own sat empty became too much to bear. Desperation gnawed at them like a hungry animal. To survive, some of these struggling traders devised a cunning yet humiliating strategy. They no longer relied on selling their goods directly. So instead of sitting idle, They would loiter near the market's entrance or busy sections, watching closely for any new customers who appeared confused or hesitant. "Are you looking for shea butter? Good belt? Fine beads? Fine clothes?" they would ask with forced smiles, their eyes darting nervously. When the customer nodded, they would quickly guide them through the twisting streets to another trader's store, all the while pretending it was their own. "This is the best quality," they'd say, pointing to goods they didn't own, hoping to earn a small commission from the grateful vendor at the end of the sale. It was a degrading hustle, but it put a few naira in their pockets, enough to scrape by. Yet, for all the desperation in the air, there was a palpable fear, an unspoken rule that none dared break. No one crossed Ego, no one whispered rumors or spread gossip about her. The consequences were too terrifying. Those who had dared to defy her or even speak ill of her in passing soon found themselves struck by mysterious and incurable illnesses. Strong men who once carried heavy sacks with ease were reduced to frail shadows of themselves, coughing and shivering without explanation. Others faced an even stranger, more terrifying fate. They would arrive at their shops one morning only to find their goods overrun by an army of giant rats and cockroaches. The vermin gnawed through sacks of rice, tore open packets of sugar, and trampled through crates of milk, leaving behind nothing but destruction and the foul stench of decay. It was as if the very market had turned against them. The only way to break free from this was to humble themselves before Ego. Word spread that the afflicted had to approach her with a keg of palm wine and a he-goat as offerings. With trembling hands and bowed heads, they would beg for forgiveness, and only then would the sickness lift or the pest vanish as mysteriously as they had come. Many couldn't bear the fear, the humiliation, or the slow creeping ruin. They packed up what little they had left and fled. They sought refuge in smaller, quieter markets on the outskirts of Aba, where the shadow of Ego's influence couldn't reach. There, their businesses found a fresh start, and for the first time in a long while, they tasted freedom. But those who remained in Ariaria markets lived in constant fear, their every move watched by the unseen eyes of a woman whose power seemed to stretch beyond the ordinary. What secrets did Ego hold, and who would dare to challenge the iron grip she had on the market? The question lingered like smoke in the air, unanswered, yet always present. Ngozika had arrived in Aba with her husband and 2 sons, full of hope and determination. She had worked hard, saving every naira to fulfill her dream of owning a thriving provision business. Her presence was unassuming at first. She was a middle-aged woman with soft eyes, an infectious smile, and a calm demeanor that exuded warmth. Her husband and 2 sons helped unload their goods, stacking shelves with care. The shop she rented was directly opposite Ego's imposing empire, an unfortunate coincidence she didn't realize until much later. The previous owner, Nneka, had abandoned it in fear of Ego's strange malevolent influence, but Ngozika knew nothing of the rumors, the curses, or the whispers that swirled like a dark fog through the market. Ego noticed immediately from her shop's doorway. She watched with narrowed eyes, her lips pressed into a thin line. "Another fool," she muttered. "She'll be gone soon enough." Ngozika, oblivious to the silent animosity, worked with determination. She greeted passers-by with genuine kindness, offering small samples and chatting with potential customers. Soon, the aroma of freshly baked bread and the colorful display of neatly arranged goods began drawing attention. At first, a few curious buyers trickled into her shop, but by midday, a steady stream of customers flooded in. They laughed at her jokes, lingered in conversation, and left with more than they intended to buy, not because of compulsion, but because of how they felt valued in her presence. Customers swarmed her shop, lured by her warm smile, competitive prices, and impeccable customer service. Her warm smile and gentle words welcomed everyone, young and old. Unlike Ego, who ruled with an iron fist, Ngozika treated her customers with kindness, often asking about their families or offering small discounts. Her sincerity was magnetic, and soon her shop was bustling with activity, even more so than Ego's shop. Unlike the others who had fallen before Ego, Ngozika's business didn't just survive, it flourished. Her shelves were always full, her customers left satisfied, and word spread quickly that there was a new shop in the market where kindness matched the quality of the goods. Ego, watching from across the dusty street, felt a fury she hadn't known before. Her shops were busy, yes, but something was different. A few of her regular customers had crossed the narrow walkway to Ngozika's shop. She clenched her fist. "We'll see how long this lasts," she hissed, turning on her heel. How dare this woman succeed where others had failed? How dare she set up her business in her territory and draw away the very customers who should have been hers? For the first time, Ego felt her grip on the market slipping. She watched from her shop as customers streamed into Ngozika's shop, their laughter and chatter echoing in the air. It was a direct challenge to her reign, and Ego could not tolerate it. Ego's face hardened with rage, but she masked it behind a smile as she plotted her next move. That evening, after the market emptied, Ego sat alone in her store, the faint glow of a single bulb casting shadows on the walls. She traced her finger along the wooden desk, deep in thought. Who was this Ngozika? What power did she possess? Meanwhile, at home, Ngozika knelt with her family in prayer. Their modest home was filled with the sounds of gratitude and hope. Her husband, Chike, held her hand, sensing her unease. "The market is not easy, but God is with us," he reassured her. One morning, Ego walked into Ngozika's shop with a practiced smile, the harshness in her eyes softened by pretense. "Ah, Ngozika," she said warmly, extending her hand. "It is good to see a new face in the market. You are doing well, I see." Ngozika, unaware of Ego's hidden malice, welcomed her with genuine warmth. "Thank you, Sister Ego. It is by God's grace," she replied, beaming. Ego returned often after that, pretending to form a friendship, though her true purpose was far darker. She observed the steady flow of customers, her eyes counting, her mind scheming. Each visit filled her heart with more jealousy. Finally, she decided it was time to act. One day, Ego arrived at Ngozika's shop carrying a bottle of malt. Her smile sweet, but her intentions bitter. "Ngozika," she said, handing the chilled bottle over, "I thought you might need something refreshing. It's hot today and you've been working so hard." Ngozika's face lit up with gratitude. "Thank you, Sister Ego. That is so thoughtful of you." Ego lingered only a moment longer before departing, her heart cold with anticipation. The bottle of malt she had given was poisoned, laced with a substance meant to end Ngozika's flourishing business, and perhaps her life. Left alone, Ngozika sat on the wooden stool behind her counter, eyeing the drink.